in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown, and joining with me, as always, former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. We have an action-packed episode, a lot to go over and a lot to preview this week, Dad, so let's dive right into it, into Bristol. The biggest story from Bristol was the tires. The tire issue, crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a race like that. You can argue the Indianapolis race a few years ago, but I mean, the tire wear on this was unbelievable, and it was insane seeing some of the pictures from the track up close and how those tires just tore up.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Now, I'm a big fan of having tires wear out where the cars start to lose handle, but it was actually kind of the point where it was probably starting to get a little dangerous. The speeds that they can get at Bristol is kind of bad, and that's all from what I can gather is when they did a tire test in the fall, they put the PJ1 traction compound down, and this time they used whatever kind of resin, whatever the hell that does, but all it basically was, they must put a cheese grater down. It just shredded the tires. But if you want to look at it, when I was watching the race, I was like, this race sucks. Then you look back at it, it's like, you know what? There was a lot of passing.
There was a lot that happened. Fresh tires made you look like you were in the Super Mario Brothers racing with the star, and you were just passing everybody. And actually, some of the memes on Twitter and everything about that. But yeah, absolutely insane. I've never seen tire wear like that, but it made it very interesting because you got to see who was able to manage the tires, who was able to save on it. And it ended up being, 5 or 6 guys on the lead lap at the very end. I don't know how it didn't have a caution at the end with all the chaos that was happening.
How nobody blew a tire is just unreal, but that just goes to show you the guys that, the veterans who've been around when you had the high horsepower and you had to manage your tires. Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, they were by far the class of the field, and also didn't help that they probably had the best handling cars.
Yep.
Maybe Ty Gibbs into that mix, but which I don't think he managed them quite as well.
Ty Gibbs had the fastest car.
Yeah, for sure. That car was a rocket ship.
He wasn't quite as experienced at saving tires like Denny and Truex were. Can you imagine if the 750 horsepower was on those cars at Bristol with those tires? That'd be absolutely just insane.
Yeah, they would have probably blown them off way sooner. But yeah, that was, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people complained about the race, and you look back on it, it was like, shit, that really was actually kind of entertaining.
I think
you didn't know who was going to win.
I think
the end.
I think the drivers really enjoyed it, and actually, if you see it on TV, you got to hear from Clint, you got to hear from Kevin. They explained kind of what was going on, how the strategies were going to have to play out. That was a major factor in it, and made it actually very interesting. Like, hey, how are these guys going to manage this and get to the end, and what kind of strategies are they going to use? And that really made it exciting. It helps. And I'm telling you, Kevin Harvick's done a phenomenal job this year. He and Clint complement each other very well, and obviously Mike Joy in the booth too. I think this is the best Fox booth that they had in quite some time now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kevin Hart's very knowledgeable, and presents it to where normal people like us can understand what he's talking about, which is really nice. But Goodyear was scrambling. They had enough tires to mount everybody up one more set, and I don't think they actually ever needed them. At least most of the cars did not need that very last set.
Well, I was listening to the guys over on Door Bumper Clear this week, and yeah, they agreed that, hey, Goodyear probably shouldn't have freaked out and had that conference in the middle, because it was exciting, and they were like, I think it was a little unnecessary that they had to go in and freak out about the tire issue, because I mean, they're having a blast out there on the track. I don't think you're going to see anything change. I don't think the teams want to change. They just have to go about how they want to set up their cars a little bit differently for the fall race. Nighttime's going to make a difference. It's going to be a little cooler. I'm curious to see how these cars will be in the fall. I think this is a great test for a playoff race at the nighttime Bristol race. I think that's where the playoffs start, so that's going to be absolute chaos. I think it was a great race. I think it was a good move. Moving from dirt, you messaged me during the race that, yeah, it looks like there's like nobody there. Well, it is Bristol, holds 150,000. It probably was about half full. When I told you this beforehand, that's probably what's going to get. Biggest thing with Bristol, there's no accommodations anywhere. There's no hotels nearby. It's hard to stay anywhere. So it's hard for people to come in on that day and then drive back home. And you'll see a lot of campers, and they did say there were quite a few campers there, which means it's a decent crowd if there's a lot of campers.
Yeah, and actually, luckily, normally the spring race, the weather's usually complete shit there in the mountains of
Tennessee.
Beautiful. It actually had very, very good weather. Yeah, and like you said, there was probably, 70,000 people there.
Yeah.
And you take Phoenix the week before, the whole place only holds 40-some thousand.
But it's sold out, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just it looks bad on TV, but as far as the fall race, no chance Goodyear brings that same tire back.
They are saying they probably gonna not change anything.
I don't see how. I think
if they change anything, it'll be a slightly harder tire, and
I think they'll keep it to where it wears, but not just completely. Maybe they'll have a tire with a little more rubber on it where it doesn't get to the cords.
Yeah, the track just didn't take the rubber. It just it was just laying there on the track like dirt.
So whatever that resin was, that no, the trucks didn't seem to have much of an issue, but
it's a different car. The cars are heavier. Yeah, the
tire too.
Yeah, the cars are heavier in the Cup Series. They're bigger tires. I mean, it's a little bit different. I didn't catch much of the truck race, but you just mentioned it. Christian Eckes gets the big win at Bristol. Big time win for him. I didn't catch a whole lot of it. I think from what I heard, it was a good race. I know he had a hell of a battle with Kyle Busch. Again, we didn't even realize Kyle Busch was racing. We probably would have picked him. Anytime you have Kyle, especially in Truck Series and at Bristol, you would think he wins, but Christian Eckes holds him off and gets a big time win over Kyle. Kyle came off the turn 4, and I did see the finish.
He got close, but just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, if he timed up probably a lap sooner, might have had him. But hats off Christian Eckes holding off the all-time greatest truck driver that there is in NASCAR. And obviously, we talked about it. Denny Hamlin gets a win at Bristol. That's back-to-back wins now at Bristol for Denny, getting last fall's win. He's starting to be that type of track, starting to be pretty good for him. That's, I think, his 4th or 5th win at Bristol now. But Martin Truex Jr., that's another one up there, getting 2nd place. Now maybe taking the crown over Ryan Blaney after he had some misfits and misfortune at Bristol. Truex gets 2nd place, so he's knocking on the door to get some wins.
Yeah, especially as they were saying how bad Truex actually is at Bristol, or at least his finishes.
And
he normally runs pretty good. And this time, I think I picked Truex to win last week, and it came up one spot short anyway. But yeah, he had a great run. Managed his tires. There at the end with 20 laps to go, he and Denny Hamlin swapping the lead through lap cars it got pretty exciting there for a while.
It did, and I was curious to see if Denny hit the lap traffic at the wrong time, if Truex is going to be able to get a pass on Denny. Truex kind of got hit with some lap traffic at the same time. It just didn't work out that he was going to get past him. They both had pretty much the identically fast car. I mean, no one was going to be faster than the other right there. It just happened to whoever caught the lap traffic. I think it was good. I know the ratings were a lot better already for Bristol. I think they were up already 10% from last spring. All the races this year, NASCAR have had higher ratings that they've had in years now. And the racing's been good. Now, you got to give it to NASCAR. The racing overall has been very good this year. Phoenix, a little bit of a snooze fest, but overall, it's been very, very good racing this year. So hats off to NASCAR making the appropriate changes, and I think the short track packages are starting to come in. We'll see in a couple weeks when I'm up there in person. Be bringing the little one to Martinsville for his first race. So seeing Martinsville, seeing what type of tire they bring after seeing Bristol, that'll be really interesting to see too.
Yeah, and all the drivers want at least to do some kind of testing with high horsepower on these short tracks. I just don't. They got some work to do on that short. Bring the horsepower back. Put the make them drive it with that throttle.
I think the high horsepower
be a better race.
I think the high horsepower on a larger short track, if you will, I guess like Phoenix, for example, Richmond. I think that would go over really big.
Yeah, I think you can do it on Martinsville too. Make them be easy on the throttle coming off the corners. You don't want to John Force it the whole way down the straightaways.
Well, let's head into our dirt racing segment this week, previewing World of Outlaws once again. I think another 2 weeks until High Limit kicks back again. But World of Outlaws at Cotton Bowl, recapping that. Night 1, Brett Marks gets the win. Big time win for him, holding off Carson Macedo. And Night 2, Giovanni Scelzi. I told you, that's the dark horse I'm telling you this year. And he had a really good weekend. He even bounced off a wall and somehow didn't flip it and still finished that race in the top 10 on the first night. And the second night prevails and gets the big time win. Great track.
Yeah, it was an awesome track. The racing was great. From the top 10, most of the races there was battles everywhere. Brett Marks really was able to get hooked up on the bottom more so than everybody else, and it was able to take advantage of that before the other guys found it. But another 2-lane racing through the corners, small track slide jobs, great racing. No real issues of laying down rubber or having any kind of tire issues. It was just all around a great race.
That they prepped the track right. And staying in Texas this coming weekend, the Outlaws are they are I can't do this.
The Big O Speedway in Enos, Texas.
Yeah. I'm sure that means like the big ostrich or something. Nothing else. It would mean nothing else, of course. Definitely not, guys. Oh.
Especially like if the town had started with an O, Odessa, Texas, the Big O. Nope, it's the Big O.
Screw it. That's great.
Quarter mile semi-bank track. It looks like it's one of them that's got, for a quarter mile, it looks like it has straightaways, so the corners are going to be very, very tight, I think. Don't believe the Outlaws have ever raced there before, so this is going to be an interesting thing. I think they are going to absolutely pack the stands to come see the 410 sprint cars run around that track.
I saw videos on YouTube. I think the stands hold about 20 people, so I mean it might not be a whole lot. I watched it was like
some portables in or something.
It's what we call these used to be the Thunder cars, and I saw a race on YouTube there, and first of all I don't know how anybody gets excited about that. I literally just flicked it on for 5 seconds, and somebody's already spinning out, and then somehow it was a pile up. I don't know how. They were going about 30. But you got to see the track, and I don't think there's a fence on 1 and 2, which makes it really interesting, kind of like how Lernersville is and a bunch of other small tracks. But being that it's such a small track with no fence on the on 1 and 2 at the very least, you're going to see some people jump outside the track and probably jump back on.
Maybe not intentional.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to balls it on the outside a little too much and forget there's not a wall that can save me from going outside the track. And I think it's going to be great racing.
This is going to be interesting. I look forward to seeing them go onto these new tracks to see how, how the track, if they can get the track prepped where it can withstand these cars, I think it's going to be a fun race.
Yeah.
All right, we got to give a shout out to one of our partners, Viator. If you want to book your next destination vacation, check out my friends over at Viator.com. So many great places, so many great deals, organized on one website for you. Check the link down below. Click on it. Check all the places you need to go to. From Los Angeles to New York to Tokyo to Australia, wherever you want to go. Viator's got it. Check them out. Click the link down below. Back to the show.
Yeah, so they have 2 races this weekend. It's Big O Speedway, and they're going to Kennedale. And I think the High Limit that was supposed to be there earlier this year, and it rained out, if I'm not mistaken. I know one of the series.
Okay.
I believe so. And I remember we were previewing it, and it's these 2 tracks are very, very similar. They're in Texas, staying in Texas.
Kennedale's in Oklahoma.
They're not staying in Texas on the second night?
No, they're not in Kennedale. They're at Lawton Speedway, Lawton, Oklahoma.
Oh, I thought it was Kennedale. Did I get that wrong? Apparently I did. Oh, no. Sorry. Well, I didn't preview that one right. We've talked about Big O. Let's give our pick for Big O and preview the next night. So, night 1, the only night at Big O Speedway. And who do you got for that race?
I think this is one. I think you're going to probably have to be good on the bottom. And this guy's been kind of sneaking up on there maybe a little earlier in the year than he has been. I got Logan Schuchart for this one.
Using the similar logic that you're using, finished really well, at least the first night at the Cotton Bowl Speedway, consistent the second night. And he's got to get a win here before too long. I'm going Carson Macedo for Big O Speedway. All right, since I completely am an idiot, didn't even realize where they were racing on Saturday. I don't know what the hell I was reading, but go ahead and talk about where they racing on Saturday, because clearly I don't even know what's going on.
All right, Lawton Speedway, Lawton, Oklahoma. It just says it's a quarter-mile dirt oval. It looks like they have not raced there since 2021. Brad Sweet has the track record, and it's like a 12-point-something track record, so it's not a super fast, it's not a super fast quarter mile, so it's going to be an interesting thing. But other than that, I didn't get a whole lot of information. I didn't get a chance to see what was the races, like I said, from 2021. So this is just going to go kind of blind on that one, and fingers crossed and hope for the best.
No. Oh, no. No, yeah. So, okay. Now I know why I said Kennedale. So they're not racing at Lawton anymore. They just canceled that race. And they changed it up, and they're going to race at Kennedale Speedway in Kennedale, Texas. I was right. Damn it, I knew I was right.
Well, hell, I don't know. I was just
so you bring it up, and it says they actually canceled it. So because it was supposed to be, they were supposed to race at Lawton Speedway, like you're saying, in Oklahoma, but they canceled that race for whatever reason. I'm going to guess tornadoes. I don't know. I don't know anything about Oklahoma. But so they are.
They didn't change their schedule on the World of Outlaws thing, which is weird.
On the website, they are. I'll look at that right now.
Yeah, so am I. It has Big O Speedway, Lawton Speedway, and Thunderbird.
And then it go. Oh, it didn't even put your new one in?
No.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it says Saturday, March 23rd, World of Outlaws, Cowtown Roundup. That's what it is. Outlaws are supposed to be. They rained out. This is the rain makeup date. They had to cancel Oklahoma, so we're back into Kennedale. See, we look like idiots, but we try. So, okay, well, Kennedale, I'm actually prepared for it. It is similar to the Big O Speedway. It's a bull ring. It's I think a quarter mile, maybe a 3/8. Small track. It's got wide turns 3 and 4. I think you could build a lot of speed going into 1 and 2. So this is completely screwing up your notes right now. But see, I made notes of it, so we both.
You know what? I'm going to keep my same pick. What the hell?
You're just going to double up?
Nope.
Oh! I thought you were talking.
No, same pick I had for Lawton. I'm just going to.
Well, what was
I got Carson.
I guess it's automatically going to go to Kennedale.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Carson Macedo's, like you were just talking about, he's due for a win. Normally, he takes off very well early in the year, and this year he has definitely been struggling a little bit, which is odd considering you got a couple of cars not racing so far this year. So sooner or later, they're bound to put a streak together and probably knock off a few.
Well, my pick, I'm going with the guy that's got the momentum right now. He smacked the wall night 1, got a win the night 2 last week. I've got Giovanni Scelzi winning Saturday at Kennedale. See, I was right. It's fun when I'm right, isn't it? All right, so.
Gotta give another shout out to another partner of ours, one we've had for quite some time, Dubby Energy. Make sure you check the link out down below, dubby.gg. Use my promo code ZBHP. Get 10% off any order. I'm sipping on some good stuff right now. I've got the Pineberry Splash Hydro series right now. Some great stuff. I'm telling you. I've had them for a while, and I'm particular on the drinks I get. Energy drinks, hydration supplements. There's some good stuff. I've had them for over a year now, so check them out. W.GG, promo code ZBHP. 10% off your order. Back to the show.
Heading from World of Outlaws into NHRA, starting the West Coast swing for the NHRA, the top 3 series. It's not motorcycle racing in Pomona. I think motorcycles usually don't do the West Coast swing, at least this early on in the year. So you just got the Pro Stock cars, funny cars, and Top Fuel heading into Pomona. And they did start at the Gator Nationals last year. I just looked at the results from last year. Pomona was actually the 3rd race last year. So they're changing things up quite a bit. So Pomona used to be the first race, and now it's not, but it's still a pretty infamous track for these drag racers.
Yeah, this is sort of the OG track for the NHRA. This is where it kind of all started. So this is sort of got a special place for all the racers. Really, the only one that's actually from out there we have is the Forces. I do think the Scrappers car originally is from out there. I'm not sure it's based out there anymore.
Well, Gianna and the Salinas, they're all in that general area. Yeah.
Which little information on that is.
Go ahead. That was actually about to talk. Yeah.
Mike Salinas is stepping away, at least temporarily, for health reasons. So his daughter, Jasmine. Yeah, I know she's been testing the Top Fuel car the last couple of years, so she's going to be stepping in for that. So, the drag race has been interesting. So we got Tony Stewart, now we got Jasmine Salinas, so that's a
lot of headlines this year.
That's going to be quite interesting. I think she'll do well. That's a good car.
It's a good car, and she's been testing them. She raced in Top Alcohol, and I think hers was a nitro car, kind of like how Tony's was. Yeah. So she should adjust fine. Be interesting to see. I think Pomona will be a great track. I don't think it'll be as humid as Florida. Traditionally,
definitely not. The air should be good. It's close to sea level. Humidity generally is pretty low. But they have been getting rain, so hell, who knows out there?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to either have mudslides or earthquakes. I don't know. I don't know anything about California. I'm just gonna go listen. Anyways, heading into our picks for NHRA. Of course, you're going first all this week. I'll try to alternate weeks. So starting off the Pro Stock series, who are you going with in that one to possibly knock off Erica Enders? Unless you have Erica.
Well, I got one that's my pick is to actually beat Erica Enders. I figure it's too easy just to keep picking her, so we're gonna go somebody different. He's been out for a little bit, but he's still one of the best levers in the business in Pro Stock. I got Jake Coughlin Jr.
Okay. I thought you were about to say my pick. I was like, oh, no. This week I've got for Pro Stock cars, I got none other than the salty veteran himself, Greg Anderson, taking the lead. He was in the semifinals last week.
Did I say Pro Stock motorcycle too with this pick? Pro Stock.
What'd you say?
I said I might have said Pro Stock motorcycle on Jake Coughlin Jr., but it's regular Pro Stock.
You just Pro Stock cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 4 wheels. All right, for funny car, who you got for this week?
This guy, not one of my favorite picks, but he is the fastest guy in drag racing history in at least an engine powered car. So he set the speed record of 341 point something in Florida. Bob Tasca III.
Everybody thinks I'm copying you. Yeah, I got Tasca as well. He went really well at Pomona last year. And I think he was in semifinals last week. So, yeah, I mean, he was on a tear at the end of last year. I thought I'd throw him. Yeah, of course. Great minds think alike. Let's say that. All right, Top Fuel, who you got?
We talked about local car. Been a while since she's won one. I got Brittany Force.
Okay, thank God. All right, I got one. He was on a tear last year. Still fast this year. He's really good at Pomona, actually, last year, the whole West Coast swing. Justin Ashley's my pick for Top Fuel. All right. This one's kind of interesting this week. Heading into IndyCar, this is something they have not done, at least that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, this is a whole new thing.
They are heading to Los Angeles to do the Thermal $1 million challenge. Talk about this a little bit. It's a very unique race for IndyCar.
Yeah, this is this is kind of like I don't know if they're trying to compete with NASCAR's the Clash at the Coliseum or doing something strange, but it's kind of going to be an all-star race. It's at the Thermal Club, which is a weird name for a racetrack.
It's probably a sponsor. I think it's
Palm Springs, California. It is a 3.67 mile, 19 turn racetrack. If you look at the track layout, it's actually kind of like a 3. I mean, just the way it's 3 for Dale. So it's a wild looking track. It looks really cool. It's got the sweeping turns. It's got tight corners. It's got long straightaways. It's got short straightaways. Elevation changes. I think it's going to be an awesome track. It really looks like a nice thing. So what they got is going to be 2 heat races and a 12-car all-star field to race for $1.756 million.
Is that the winner or is that the purse is the 1.7?
I think that's the winner. Well, I don't know. I don't seem like
probably the purse and the winner gets
probably $1,756,000 for the rest of the purse.
But I mean, that's only 11 more, so that's still a hell of a purse.
But it's outside of the Indy 500. This is the biggest purse in IndyCar. So
I think that's good. I think that's good for this series. It's
I didn't put it here. I think it's only a 30-lap race, so it's going to be
20.
like a sprint race.
I think it's 20 laps.
It comes on Sunday, March 4th, 12:30 p.m. on NBC and Peacock.
The usual time frame and channel for
which is
IndyCar.
weird. That's 9:30 in the morning out there. So
that's gonna go by. It's gonna go by fast too. It'll take no time. It'll be like an hour and a half long. It probably won't even have. I wouldn't even think they would have to pit.
Yeah, they schedule for 3 hours, so it's going to be a lot of fluff or something going on out there. But
are the
actual racing's not going to be that much.
So are the heats the same day or are they the day before?
I believe they're. Well, if they just have that one race, they're almost going to have the heat races.
Okay, so that's probably how.
But I don't know how they determine down. Well, I guess they only have about 24 cars, so I guess 2 heat races of 12 each.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah, it'll be neat. I mean,
it's kind of crazy to. I didn't know how to really go about going with a pick here, but I guess give your pick for it. I'll let you know mine and my reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I was sort of torn. I was going to pick Joseph Newgarden. I'm like, well, I just going to pick him because he won. So I'll take my same guy, Alex Palou. Tough to go against him.
So the reason I'm picking this guy is I think you're going to have somebody that's a little experienced to get around a track that's unfamiliar to people and knowing when to push, when not to push. I don't know. It just seems like this would be a type of event that a veteran would win. And there's not really any more veteran than this guy, arguably the best IndyCar racer of all time. I've got Scott Dixon for this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any holding back at 30 laps. I think it's going to be go, go, go. So, and I'm going to assume there's probably not going to be special tires that are required, like regular Indy race. You have to run the soft tires, the regular tires.
I don't think there's going to be, like I'll say, I don't think there's going to be any scheduled pit stops or anything like that. I think it's just like, screw it, let's go and go for it and see what
unless they have some kind of special rules, they're going to, everybody's got to make one pit stop. I don't know. They didn't. Yeah. It didn't really say.
Well,
but it'll be neat. This is one I definitely got to try to remember, to tune in and watch this one. I think this is going to be.
I need to just start putting reminders in my phone, just like, hey, just tune in. Yeah, it'll be wild for sure. Maybe this will lead to a little more excitement and less conservative racing that you see a lot of times in IndyCar. Yeah. All right, NASCAR is heading back to Texas to take on the Circuit of the Americas. I believe the biggest road course they are heading to, if I'm not mistaken. If you don't count Chicago or anything, I think it's the biggest one they race at. Or they don't race at Road America this year. So yes, I think it is COTA.
3.41 miles and 20 turns.
Well, first road course of the year. I actually do like COTA. I think it's kind of neat.
It's neat. As you can see in the background, it is. If you're going to build a road course, make it look like that.
It's a beautiful scenery. It really is.
I mean, you're going to get Formula One there. You got to have it look like that. It's definitely a nice racetrack.
Well, this will be, I think, the 3rd year they are racing here, and it's been wild every single time.
Yeah.
Fourth, it might be 4th year. Yeah, the 4th year, because I think the first one is where it was raining so much that they couldn't even see, and then I think Chase ended up crashing and Larson passed him, or was it vice versa? Yeah.
No, they called it. They had pit stops, and Chase happened to have the lead because he didn't pit yet, and
That's what it was. And Larson was second.
Larson was absolutely tearing everybody a new one on that race.
And I remember when Harvick was talking about, hey, that was just ridiculous. But yeah, it's a great racetrack. I think it'll put on another great show. That one turn, I think it's turn technically 3 is where it gets really tight, like the similar to the tight turn you see at Sonoma. So it will be craziness, to say the least. One of the road courses I actually don't mind. If anybody has watched the show before, I'm not a fan of road course racing. I think it's trying to get too drawn out.
Because the way the track's designed.
Yeah, but I like it. This one, I don't mind. This one, I really don't mind. You're not going to hear me bitch and complain too much on this one. So before we head into that, we want to give our power rankings and then talk about what we got for fantasy. And, of course, the trivia question. We can actually go anytime on the trivia question. So power rankings heading into COTA. Go ahead with yours. I've got a pretty big shakeup in mine after last week's crazy race.
At number 5, he was out last week. I moved him back in. He was one of the only ones that actually finished on the lead lap, and I think he was the highest Chevy. I got Kyle Larson back in at number 5.
He was not. Alex Bowman was.
Oh, Bowman beat him? Okay, I didn't know if he got him or not.
But yeah.
At number 4, this was the absolute fastest car last week, hands down. Didn't quite have the experience to do it, but first time in my top 5, I got Ty Gibbs. He's
moving up.
I think he's had the highest average finish of anybody this year so far out of all the races.
Definitely moving up.
Yep. And number 3, he was not in last week. I moved him back up. Second place finish, great run at Bristol where he don't normally run good at Bristol. I got Martin Truex Jr. Number 2, last week's winner. He wasn't in my power 5 or top 5 last week, so I got Denny Hamlin at number 2. And even though he had a little issue at Bristol, kind of got chastained, we're going to give Ryan Blaney a pass. He was pretty good all day for the most part. The whole tire thing was kind of a screwed up affair for some teams. So we're going to leave Ryan Blaney at number 1 right now until somebody consistently can beat him or he really has trouble.
I just like how that's become a verb now, is chastained. All right, so my top 5, definitely a shakeup here. All right, so at number 5, I still got him in my power rankings. He still finished in the top 10. It was a difficult race for everybody at Bristol, but I've got Christopher Bell at number 5. Number 4, last week's winner, I've got Denny Hamlin moving back into my top 5 power rankings at number 4. And at number 3, got 5th place. I'm not changing anywhere where he's going right now, staying in my top 5, Kyle Larson. Number 2, this is where it shakes up big time at the top. I dropped down to number 2, Ryan Blaney. Obviously having some issues at Bristol. I'm going to drop you down a little bit because my number 1 is the guy I'm telling you he's going to start knocking off wins like it ain't nothing. Martin Truex Jr. is my number 1 power ranking heading into COTA. I think he's going to start going on a tear. It could even happen this weekend. He can race pretty well at road courses, so watch out for Truex. He can race well anywhere. He's good anywhere. Except, I would say, I guess, super speedways. I guess that's his little Achilles heel right now. But, I mean, that's just a crapshoot. So, yeah, top 5 this week. Yeah, definitely a big shakeup. All right, so our fantasy lineups, as promised, to help you guys choose who you don't want to have this week. So, go ahead and talk about your starters for this week at a road course. I've got some different faces now because it is a road course.
Yep, I got some different ones. I've been bringing up the rear in our league. So
hey, you won last week. Hey,
last week I went with the Smacks to get it done, and son of a bitch if they did not get it done for me last week. So we're going to go with the guys you don't normally would probably pick in your fantasy. But here we go. So I have, for my starters, I have Ty Gibbs, super fast. He's good on road courses. Daniel Suarez, good on road courses. Michael McDowell, he's been fast freaking everywhere, surprisingly. And he's good on road courses. He won Indy last year, I believe. AJ Allmendinger. How do you not put him in for a road course? This one may be a little different. I got Austin Cindric. He's another one that was a pretty good road course racer coming up. And then in my garage, I got to put somebody that's good in there. So I got Tyler Reddick in my garage, last year's winner. And so for the featured matchups, some of these are pretty interesting this week. We have Kyle Busch versus Denny Hamlin. I picked Kyle Busch. Sooner or later, Kyle Busch's luck has got to get a little better.
You would think.
So then we have Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson. Strange they got Kyle Larson odds at plus 115 and Reddick at minus 150. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever. But I got Kyle Larson on that one. And we got the teammates, Suarez and Ross Chastain.
That's interesting.
I did pick Suarez over that, got him in my top 5. And then Alex Bowman and Austin Cindric. Alex Bowman's another surprisingly good road racer you don't think about, but since I have him in my top 5, I got Austin Cindric on this one.
All right. Well, I've got a little bit different lineup, and mine completely deleted, so it's obviously what I just went with right now. I don't know why it deleted earlier. NASCAR, you better check yourself trying to just make my stuff mess up, because I'm definitely not 56,708th in the world. I'm definitely number 1. All right, so my lineup for this week is the Watermelon Man himself, Ross Chastain, got a win at COTA, so I think you will see him up and running and contending for the win. Same as you, Michael McDowell. This is the first time I've actually used Michael McDowell this year. It won't be the last time, and he's freaking fast. They've got something figured out with that new body and the new Mustang. I've got Alex Bowman in my lineup. He's pretty good at COTA, actually. I think both the last 2 years at COTA, he's finished top 5, or both at least top 10s. I expect he's got some momentum after Bristol, too, so that goes a long way as well. Last year's winner at COTA, I got Tyler Reddick. He's a great road course racer. I expect him to be up there. And probably the best road course racer in NASCAR history, Chase Elliott. He's in my lineup. And in my garage, I've got Ty Gibbs. He's pretty good. I think he finished like 3rd or 4th last year at COTA, so that was pretty crazy. My featured lineups, they're a lot different than yours. I've got Denny Hamlin over Kyle Busch. Just for the fact that he's had bad luck and Denny's had some momentum, so it's just a little bit about that. I got Tyler Reddick over Kyle Larson because I ain't jinxing him. I've got Ross Chastain over Suarez. I got Chastain in my lineup, so I'm going with that. And this I actually don't have in my lineup. I'm going against my lineup on this one, but I got Austin Cindric over Alex Bowman. He is a surprise at COTA and road courses. So obviously the good bet this week's Tyler Reddick. He's good anywhere he goes road courses. Ross Chastain, same. Says avoid Denny Hamlin, so that's cool because I picked him in my feature matchup. Avoid Bubble. Now, take this with a grain of salt, everybody. They said avoid Truex, and he got 2nd last week. So, once again, the sleeper. I guess he's going to be the sleeper every week. It's going to be Chris Buescher. Sorry, Chris. Apparently, you're never going to be a good bet, but you're always going to be a sleeper bet. So, I guess it's better than to just completely avoid. Yeah. So, all right. Trivia, and then our picks for COTA. So, when was NASCAR's first road course race, and where was that at?
Riverside, California?
No.
No shit, really? Wow.
You're going to be like, oh, that's right when I tell you, but you got any more guesses?
No.
Could you guess a year they went to road course first?
I'm going to say like 77.
Oh, no, it's way before that.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah. You want to know, or do you need a hint?
I'll try a hint.
All right, a hint. It's in New Jersey. Or was it New Jersey?
Oh, I have no idea.
All right, so it's the Linden Airport in New Jersey in 1954.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have guessed that in a million years.
The winner of that one was Al Keller.
Okay. Never even heard of him.
See, we learn something new every single day. Finishing up finally for our picks for COTA. All 3 series are here. It's going to be utter chaos. Let's dive right into it. The truck series, who do you got?
So this is some interesting entries in the truck series. We have Jack Hawksworth, Marco Andretti, Connor Zilich, and Ross Chastain's running the trucks this time. But I'm just kind of rolling the dice on this one. I got Grant Enfinger never know with the trucks. That's just kind of a.
I've got one. He's been really good on road courses. He's just a good truck driver, as it is. I got Ty Majeski. The Xfinity Series. I'm going to take a guess. We both have the same one on this
one. I don't know about that, but notable wonders in this one: Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs are running in the Xfinity.
Oh.
So my pick is SVG himself, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Cheeseburger.
Yep.
Well, we don't have the same one. I've got the all-time greatest Xfinity road course racer has ever existed, AJ Allmendinger.
I almost picked him.
Yeah, I'm not going against Dinger for
this. I'm just going to see what SVG can do.
I actually, before my NASCAR app deleted everything, I had him in my lineup, or I think I had him in my garage, but that's cool. I just whatever. Anyways, for the Cup Series, who do you got?
So we got, we know Allmendinger's in there, SVG's running, and Kamui Kobayashi is going to be. I think he ran a couple. Did he run the street course last year? He ran very well.
Isn't that the test that Captain Kirk cheated on in Star Trek?
Yeah, that's what it is. But you know what? I got the best average finish of anybody this year. He's a great road course racer. I'm not going to have tire issues. I got Ty Gibbs, and Mom's going out on the limb and picked AJ Allmendinger for the Cup race.
I'm going to dark horse. I don't know if you can consider it dark horse anymore. I got him in my lineup. He's been fast. I got Michael McDowell.
He won Indy last year on the road course.
It's not going to be, like I said, I don't think it's complete dark horse. I think that's
no. I don't think you can call it anymore. That's Busher. I think is the sleeper.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for this week. So I've been trying to think of a good top 5 for next week to do. I was kind of going back and forth on it, but since you and I have been doing this now, and I guess it's a good father-son duo, let's dive into a top 5 next week. The best father-son duos in motorsports of all time. Across anything.
Any motorsport?
Any racing.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you guys have some suggestions who you think that are good father-son duos that have been in history,
I'm going to try to include some dirt racing going on.
Yeah, there's some good ones in that. So make sure you leave in the comments or whatever it is. Let us know what you think. Follow anywhere you get your podcasts. Follow on all social media platforms. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Check all the stuff that the YouTube channel has. We're continuously improving. So look at this little microphone. It's right now, all the time. Trying to keep having some fun with it. So we'll look forward to see what you guys give us for next week. Yep, top 5 father-son duos for next week. And we'll dive into some more NASCAR and recap again next week. So until then, we will see you guys in about a week.
All right. Bye, everybody.